Welcome back, everyone. For this deep dive, we're tackling a great listener request exploring the core knowledge areas for the CSIR NET Life Science exam. We'll be using the essential topics and subtopics list as our guide.
That was good.
Our mission for you. Basically to hit the highlights fast, give you a real feel for the amazing breadth of life science, from tiny molecules right up to whole ecosystems.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating isn't just listing these topics, it's seeing how they all, well, interconnect. It's not just about facts.
Exactly.
Understanding this web is key to being genuinely, well-informed about biology. It all fits together.
That interconnectedness
Yeah.
is huge, isn't it? Okay, let's unpack this. We'll touch on molecular biology, cell biology, genetics, ecology, evolution, even biochemistry.
A big landscape.
It really is.
Hmm.
So let's kick off right at the bottom, the fundamentals. Molecules and their interactions relevant to biology. We're talking amino acids, proteins, nucleic acids.
The building blocks.
Right. But what's the key insight here beyond just knowing what they are?
It's really the why behind their shapes. Their structures aren't accidental. They absolutely dictate how these molecules interact.
Okay.
Think about enzymes, for instance. They're like these tiny biological catalysts, right? Speeding things up incredibly.
Nanospeed switches almost.
Exactly. Reactions in milliseconds that might otherwise take ages. That's the real power, how energy flows and changes form at that level.
So from those building blocks, we naturally scale up to cellular organization. You could almost picture the cell as this bustling little city, self-contained. Its membranes are like the city walls controlling traffic.
Good analogy, border control.
Yeah. And the organelles inside are like specialized districts, each doing its own thing. Mitochondria is the power plants, for example.
And inside that city, these fundamental processes are always running. DNA making copies of itself, replication.
Right.
Then it's info flowing to RNA. That's
Yeah.
transcription, and then RNA guiding protein building translation. Plus, you've got the whole cell cycle managing growth and division.
And fixing mistakes too, right? DNA repair.
Oh, absolutely crucial. Like tiny proofreaders constantly checking the script.
Then there's the whole world of cell communication and cell signaling. This is amazing stuff.
How cells talk.
Exactly. Using receptors, these complex pathways, basically cellular phone lines. And this covers cell adhesion too, what literally holds tissues together.
And our immune system fits in here as well, the body's defense force.
Yeah. Your body's having all these conversations constantly, and you're not even aware.
It's pretty mind-boggling. And these silent chats underpin developmental biology. How does one single cell become, well, us, or a plant?
From embryo to the whole organism.
Precisely. Morphogenesis, how organs and body plans actually take shape. It's the blueprint unfolding.
Okay, so once we get how cells talk and develop, the next logical step seems to be system physiology.
Right, zooming out again.
Looking at how entire systems work in plants and animals. The engineering behind it all, hormones as messengers.
The nervous system's electrical signals.
Lightning-fast whispers, yeah. And how muscles contract. It's mechanics and chemistry working together.
And how do all these traits actually get passed on? That takes us straight into inheritance biology.
Mendel's P's.
Yes, the foundations. But also mapping genes on chromosomes, figuring out linkages, and crucially, mutations and variation. That's the engine of change over time.
Which leads perfectly into the bigger picture. Diversity of life forms and evolutionary principles. Why so many different species?
And how do they all get here?
It's about mapping that tree of life and understanding the mechanisms like natural selection that shaped everything.
And species don't live in isolation, of course. So that brings us to ecological principles, understanding ecosystems, populations, communities.
And biodiversity, why it matters so much.
Absolutely. It's that whole interconnected web of life on a grand scale.
And finally, we get practical with applied biology. This is where we use all this knowledge.
Right, biotechnology, genetic engineering.
We're not just understanding life, we're like finding ways to tweak it. New medicines, better crops.
And none of it happens without methods in biology. The tools. Advanced microscopes, chromatography.
Our biological magnifying glasses and separators, they let us actually see and analyze all this stuff.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay, that was a sprint. From DNA details and cell signals right up to evolution and genetic tech.
It's vast.
The scope of life science is just incredible, and it really does all connect back.
Yeah, and seeing those connections is what's truly powerful.
Yeah.
This raises an important question. How does this integrated view change how we approach biological problems? It shows that knowledge isn't just facts on a list. It's most valuable when you see the whole system.
So what does this all mean? Well, think about it. Considering just the sheer complexity of cell communication, those signal pathways, your immune system constantly working, how does your own body manage all that hidden, intricate stuff, moment to moment, without you even noticing? What new questions does just scratching the surface like this spark for your own learning journey? Keep exploring.